This character has to. You already know character did it, and I'm here with an old friend of mine that we went to high school together way back in the Stone Ages. His name is Dimitri, the merch god. Dimitri, what up, bro?
What's going on, man? Nice to see you, man. Long time, long time.
For real, man. It's been since 2006.
Yeah, it's been about six or probably even like seven because I do remember the ranch. You were at the ranch, El
Oh,
Rancho a
El
lot.
Ranch.
Yeah, so I
Damn,
do
bro.
remember that.
El
Yeah,
Rancho. I remember
yeah,
being
that
there.
was.
I don't remember many things that happened there. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember that. I remember those times. They were good times, man, for sure.
You driving
But
your
yeah,
it was a black Mitsubishi Demonte or something like that.
yeah. I had the blue. It was actually the
Blue.
blue
Okay.
Mitsubishi. Yeah. I had the blue Mitsubishi that back then. Yeah, back then it was a good time, but a lot of things have changed recently. So,
Facts.
or yeah, within the past, like it's been so long.
Yeah, we got a little older,
So
man. We done
yeah,
grew up.
yeah, basically, yeah, we did, but you can't be mad at it.
For
I love the
sure.
journey.
All right. Well, I
Love the
mean,
journey for sure.
talk about that. Talk about that. I remember you and Seabass, which I would love to get a hold of him. I've not been able to get a hold of him, but you and Seabass back in high school, y'all were both making like think about shirts, making shirts. You guys were on a hustle, and now look at you. Where are you at now? Tell
Well,
me about who you are and what you're doing right now.
well, it's crazy because yeah, you're right. Yes, me and Sebastian, he definitely actually he was the one who taught me how to use Photoshop. To be honest with you, he was
Bro,
the one
I
who taught
used
me
to
how
go
to
to
use Photoshop.
Columbia Mall with him and use trying to sell
Yeah,
T-shirts as an excuse to meet girls.
yeah. I mean, hey, but the t-shirt swag, well, really the apparel swag is really what it is. But yeah, no, Sebastian definitely doing his thing. And I went basically he taught me how to do Photoshop, and my dad was doing t-shirts at that time. I think it was around like 2012, and we made some t-shirts. Well, he designed the t-shirts, and I pressed them, and we took them to the Olympics to sell out there in London. I have a lot of family out there, so that was like my first introduction to like t-shirts.
Were you actually like
Sebastian
on
moved
the
out.
grounds? Like, did you? Were you?
Oh, look, dude, like we printed about like 3,000 t-shirts, and then we did our little Nigerian thing, smuggled them into the country. I mean, we had huge bags full of t-shirts, and we shipped them out there. We actually flew in with them, so we didn't really have too much luggage. We actually put our clothes in the bags with all the t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? So we just put everything on there. My dad paid the extra fee, but we were out there wholesaling to like the local shops because it was the Olympics time. So downtown London, you could go ahead and get your little mom and pop like little souvenir shops, just like you have in DC. And we were just wholesaling T-shirts to them, just like shirts that said Germany on them or "Let's Go USA" or just miscellaneous Olympic type merchandise. And we started selling that, and that's really like what got me going
That's so
into the
cool,
T-shirt thing.
bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
that was. I
cool.
mean, thanks, man. I mean, at first it was, trust me, it's not easy, bro. Like I've been through so many like different iterations and like different brand ideas and different things that, and sometimes it feels like, oh yeah, you're just like pushing against the grain. But at the end of the day, it's just like being able to reinvent yourself and try to master that of what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Facts, bro. Facts. And you are a prime example of stick to it. You and a high school friend of ours, I saw you all when this idea blossomed, when it sprouted, when it was planted, y'all were watering, and I saw the come up myself.
Yeah.
And then I lose touch for 15 years, and I hop back in and I see you have a storefront in DC. You're shaking hands with Chinese CEOs, making deals.
You, Yeah, well, that was actually Korea. We
Okay, okay.
my dad my dad and I stayed out in Korea for like almost a month, basically, just trying to find like manufacturers. So for his like Nigerian like athletic wear, it's like leggings, but designed with the Nigerian flair. So we went out there, but like it's kind of crazy that you're saying that because we're not really 100% there. We on the rise, like, and you always have your idea of where you want to be or where you want to go, and obviously life happens, but as long as you stay diligent and stay I guess like stay optimistic, not just diligence. You gotta stay optimistic. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you might feel like you should be a bit further than where you are, but you're actually right around the corner from where you want to be. And
Absolutely.
that's that's
Absolutely.
that's
And
really
a
what
lot
it
of
is, to
times
be
if you
honest with
stop
you.
and think about it, you're exactly where you always wanted to be. And yeah, you want to get further, but you have achieved a lot of accomplishments.
Uh, I I wouldn't have, I guess so. Yeah, I
Tell me about
wouldn't
them.
really
Tell me
call
about
them
them.
like, look, bro. I mean, it's a lot, but it's a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot of ups and downs. I did music with some friends of ours back in the day before, like, the sound that we actually really started going with became the actual sound for like the 2010s. But that's something that we like really pioneered back then, and that's when I really learned how to really hone in on this branding type marketing type vibe, because even though we were all doing music, we were able to put our heads together to come up with certain type of marketing schemes and certain type of branding. And I think that's something that developed a long time ago. But then once we started doing the music, it really started to flourish. And then, of course, once that ended, I kept going with, the branding, the t-shirts, whether it be, I would always change my Instagram handle or my Tumblr handle or something like that. I would change it to what was relevant at the time in my life, right? And then I would make merch for it. You know what I mean? I will always make merch for it. Like I had a birthday party for my 26th. It was the 26th on the 26th. You know what I'm saying? And I made T-shirts. I invited a bunch of people. A bunch of people came out. I had a hookah bar there. I had like a lot of people came out to the beach house. We had a great time, but I made T-shirts for it, and gave it out. And when I threw parties, I had my house for some time, and I would throw parties, and I would make like lighters for the parties or things of that nature. But every time I got uh, every time something a hurdle would come up, you know, I would have to pivot, but still continue to do my thing. Like there's a lot of stuff that I've done that I haven't even released, or there's a lot of things that I've done that a lot of people haven't seen. Like
Why
if
is
you
that?
go on my Instagram, well, I mean it because at the time when I created those things, like I wasn't really 100% confident in the things that I was creating, even though I knew they were lit. Everything was lit. But at the same time, I didn't want to also be seen in that light, because if you present yourself a certain way, right, people are going to perceive that that's how you are, and they'll always want to approach you like that. And I'm not really, yeah, doing music was cool, being cool and doing music and all that, but I didn't really want to like that lifestyle too much. I still wanted to be around that lifestyle, but I wanted something that also not only generate me some a good income, some accolades, because every man wants accolades, but also I just wanted to, I just also wanted to be able to um, just still be in that music scene, but also do something that was creative
It
that
sets you
could
apart too.
sus- sustain me. Well, yeah, I think that's something, but that's something that became the trend now. Like when I pivoted, I had to pivot, and when I pivoted, merch wasn't lit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was still buying back then. We was already on Nike skateboarding sneakers like the SB Dunks. We was already on the SB Dunks. We was already baked out. I was wearing Bathing Apes way before these kids. You know what I'm saying? I was wearing fucking Billionaire Boys Club, Supreme. The squad that I was running with, we was always fresh. And we was always skating and listening to Lupe, listening to Pharrell, we was making music like that. I was always traveling to Europe, so I was always bringing that kind of swag back and stuff like that. But then, once you do beats for people, once you start doing music for people, and you got to be around in that scene all the time, it starts to drain you. But you still, as a musician, I still wanted to be around it, and as a creative, I still wanted to be able to create something and still get it. You know.
No, for sure, for sure. You froze for a second and threw me off.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So, shit. Let me just make it real quick. So, I did after doing the Dreamcast music stuff. I ended
Oh
up
my
doing
god,
some.
that just threw me back. That name just threw me back, bro. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, bruh. We still got music videos we got one video that we didn't release. We got a lot of songs, but that was so long ago.
For sure.
But we did that was our first real introduction to branding t-shirts. After that, dissipated, I started doing something called the Renaissance, where like I created like a website and a Tumblr really, and was going out to Europe and trips, made T-shirts, went out into the streets in London and gave out T-shirts and stuff like that. And my cousin, he was a big YouTube star at the time out there for eating the world's hottest pepper or whatever. He was he was out there. He was rocking it with me, you know. And when I was out there, I figured out a trend, and it was cool. My cousin ended up coming back, and the brand I started again after the Renaissance was called Kitsune Gold. But there's a fashion house in Paris called Maison Kitsune. My cousin, he has a 250,000 followers on YouTube. He's getting millions of views on his
What's his
YouTube
name?
videos, and his name is A Online.
Okay.
A Online. You can check him out. So he did the African dad prank. So he's really like he was actually one of the pioneers back in the day. He did videos with KSI and Deji back in the day before they was huge.
Hell yeah.
Because that Nigerian like kind of that Nigerian collective is very close knit, especially out in Europe. But when I was out there, and he came out here and I threw parties after parties. I had a lot of girls wearing the gold and the black fox. I did like a real crazy music video that I never released, but it was lit. I did a lot of good photo shoots, which was tight. A lot of, I did. So he wore the shirt, wore it out in Europe. He did some videos in it. Maison Kitsune sent me an email, basically cease and desist letter, telling me to stop the company because I had Kitsune in my name and they had it copywritten in the States. So I had to cease and desist. So I had to stop that. So then I created, yeah, so then I created another brand with the same type of virtues. But at the same time, that really didn't really hit off because everybody knew me for Kitsune Gold.
Yeah, it was.
So
Man.
you see what I'm saying? So I had to switch that up. Around that time, I actually ended up getting a job at a prominent embroidery screen printing company here in Montgomery County. And I was, behind the scenes looking at this whole embroidery. I saw the whole operation, and you start thinking like,
Oh, trust. I
you
feel
know,
you.
you start thinking once you start seeing, okay, this is how stuff is really made, then maybe I should start doing it like this.
Yep.
And not only can I make merch for rappers and stuff like that, I can also make merch for um, your local company. And I made that transition. And around like 2015, I was doing merch for Shy Glizzy. I was doing merch for a lot of like up and coming like artists out here, and then I kind of fell off a little bit. You know,
Okay.
um, life hit me. Moved, a lot of things has changed. But then around 2019, I started doing, getting back into my old shit. You know, I was
Okay.
like, let me get some money. I was like, let me get some money and let me get something going. So I got some money, got something going. I ended up buying literally right before the pandemic. I purchased like this big ass printing machine. I mean, it's like 72 inches wide,
Oof.
and it prints everything. I have embroidery machine, and I ended up going crazy. Then the pandemic hit, and I was already on the Japanese anime swag, so already had masks in my house. Like already had like 100 black masks in my house. I lied to you not. Like if I really
Oh.
if I opened up my Instagram and like you have how you have your archives and stuff like that on your Instagram, your posts. If I unarchive some of these posts, you'll see like as soon as the pandemic hit, I had like 100 custom
Bro, that's
masks ready.
crazy.
So I made masks. I made masks. I made a mask. I made masks that said "back up." You know what I'm saying? Back up. Something like that. I said social distancing. I even made a varsity jacket for it. I did all this stuff, and it was beautiful. I mean, I hit the ground running. Already had the marketing ideas because I already did a lot of that. So that's when I started running with that. And I started doing more artists. I started doing, I did jumper suit for Whiz Kid. I did a varsity jacket for Q the Fool.
Okay.
I did a bunch of hoodies for the Merino Infantry, which is fucking ASAP. I did
Bro, what the fuck?
I did a lot of yeah I did a lot of stuff for a few people, but then I started really thinking like maybe I don't want to just be cool. Maybe I want to actually do something different. I see a lot of the big guys, like the company that I used to work for, or if you think about Custom Ink, or you think about Rush Order Tees, or anybody that you get merch from or custom ship from, they're not really looking like me. They're not really looking like me, especially on a larger scale. And that is something that I thrive to be, especially in this area. So I do like there's somebody that I follow. His name is Big Printing out in the West Coast, but he is somebody that I model my shit on out after. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. It
Like
just, I'm sorry.
it's
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What did you say?
I'm just, I asked you earlier about accomplishments, and you just listed like 10 huge accomplishments, but you do you not consider them accomplishments?
Mm, Damn, that's a good question. I don't actually. I consider them like lessons for real, for real. Like I've because uh, I'm still not. I still have some ways to go. I still
Okay,
have that goal. Yeah, I'm on that path, but I can't really declare I accomplished anything until I really do
I
accomplish
feel
that
that though.
here
I
task.
feel
You
that.
feel me?
I totally
You
feel
feel
that,
what I'm
bro.
saying?
Respect to that, for real.
You feel what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
feel me?
yeah, no, absolutely.
Because yeah, so I mean, I see you doing the interviewing, and I see you got your own Discord, and you making moves, and that's how it's supposed to be. Being able to reinvent yourself, being able to build up on attributes that that you could thrive with. Those attributes that you know that you have within yourself. And I see you
Absolutely.
doing that, and that's a Big ups to you, my guy, for sure.
I appreciate that. And really, one of the things that I'm trying to accomplish with these interviews is find universal truths. Things, and I've already found some things that pretty much everyone says, lessons they've learned through the trials and tribulations they've gone through. A lot of things that you come to realize are this, everyone comes to the same realizations after those things. And it's that you go for, you know what, I used to wear a shirt that Sebastian designed, and it was a picture of hands holding an empty wallet. It said "Go for broke," and that's pretty much what
Yes,
it
yes.
is. Once
That
you
was
once
Jack Jackpot.
I loved that shirt, bro. I don't remember when I lost that, but I remember consciously realizing I lost it and being so mad because I couldn't get another one. It was that shirt meant something to me, bro. For real, it did. But
Yes, for
that's a
sure.
universal truths and things like that. And what you're saying is you take all these lessons that you've learned through every industry and every hustle and every venture that you've ever started, and you bring them together once you find that moment
Yeah.
in your life, and you take those lessons and you run with them. You run with them and you never
Right.
make the mistakes again, and you do the things you learn to do. You keep on doing them.
Right. And that's really it. And like for real, like honestly, the older you get, like the more you start to realize like, okay, like I want to do what I want to do and I want to give my creativity to the world, but I also want to have a legacy almost. I want to make sure that, that I have something that, or I build something, create something. I think that's something that my dad like instilled in me, you know, and that's really where I'm at, So like, so with Sebastian, like that's my guy, like, that's my guy. And to see him out in
What is he
Cali
doing?
doing
Tell me
his
what
thing.
Sebastian is doing. I was trying to wait till after the interview, but I'm dying to know what Sebastian is doing. I cannot find him online, bro.
Oh, whoa, you can't find him online. He's doing a lot of stuff. He just made a
Send me
bunch of
his
tour
stuff later.
gear.
I'm dying to get a hold of Sebastian for real.
He just made a bunch of tour gear with Bad Bunny, and then he did a collaboration with True Religion. So he's making moves out in Cali, really with the cut and sew and the design, and that's something that's so beautiful because. And the thing is, let me
I
tell
am
you, the thing
so
is,
happy to hear that.
what's cool now is basically what we were doing then that weren't considered cool. Like we was like black, like he's Haitian, I'm African. We like
No one else was
the
doing that we grew up with. No one else.
but watching anime, skateboarding, fucking wearing Japanese clothes, drawing Japanese art, you know what I'm saying, doing these type of things, being interested in all these type of things, and then for it to just remember, like you gotta understand, like this Instagram and basically what else? I would say probably Twitter. I would really say Instagram and TikTok now have really washed away a lot of things because a lot of people were on this swag and was on this type of wavelength before it became like mainstream. Like you see what I'm saying? So now everybody and their mama got t-shirts. Everybody and their mama got clothing lines. Everybody and their mama are rappers, or
Especially now they
everybody
got
and their mama
AI and shit,
are,
bro.
are singers. Everybody is doing it. So at this point, it's about, especially at the level the stage that we are at, it's about doing things that are like will really hit home and solidify your journey forward. You know what I'm saying? So like that's where I'm trying to be at. That's where I'm about to be at. Like right now I'm doing marketing. I'm the director from a pharmaceutical company here regionally in the DMV area,
What?
and that's what I do on my day to day. And so which is great because I'm learning a lot more. But ultimately, my goal with that accomplishment, like you said, that it's having those 8 embroidery machines, those 2 big printing machines, and having like 6, 7 employees. Like really churning out not only dope ass merch for festivals that happen in the DMV area, but regionally just working with different companies and producing not only their merch, but their entire marketing deployment, their whole marketing campaign, and I think that's where I'm at. Like I went from like street shit, being cool, sneakerhead, to like applying that kind of nerd backpacker mentality to kind of a corporate lane. It's kind of different being in corporate and talking to people, like it's and designing,
Oh, bro, I know you gotta
designing.
speak another language.
Yeah, yeah, and things are different. I'm not trying to rap. I'm not trying to wrap you up, but a lot of shit has changed, and a lot of shit is continuously changing. And you got to adapt. You got to adapt, and especially when you're at like, dude, when you hit your 30s and you're in your early 30s, you gotta be like, all right, this is what I want
Where
to
am I
do.
at in life?
Right, this is what you want to do. And after having my daughter, bro, it was like I gotta put my head down and get shit going. And certain things will like really try to knock you down. Like I was working with, for example, you say you want to hear some stories.
Please
I
do.
got you.
Please do.
Last summer, my daughter was born, and I had a mentor that had a small embroidery business here in the Rockville area. Um, he ended up, coming to me when I just started my position at the pharmaceutical company. This is before I became director at the pharmaceutical company. I was just a
Oh,
manager.
oh, excuse me.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay, all
And,
right.
but I gotta keep it real though. It was right before and so I'm sitting there and my mentor calls me and he's like, "Yo, Dimitri, like he's around 70 years old. He had a triple bypass. He's ready to just get rid of everything. I've been working with him for 10 years. I've wanted to buy this business for 10 years. I prayed to God, hey, please bring me a job that will give me the opportunity to buy this man's business so then I can do whatever I need to do. I don't, I would love to work with corporate, not for corporate. You understand?
Mm,
So,
mm.
so so I'm like, all right, this is cool. He hit me up. I at work. I put the phone down. Luckily, he's like 5, 6 minutes away. He's off Rockville Pike, and I'm working in like the new big building in Pike and Rose over here. So I drive over to him, and he's telling me he needs to be out within a month. Mind you, my daughter just was born. Me and my girl just got this condo. I'm sitting here on the balcony. I'm talking to you now. So I'm like, this is crazy. Long story short, I ended up doing the most to help him, and he was actually ended up getting evicted. He was getting evicted, and I was able to broker a deal where, okay, my I have about like 17. I have a space that's like 1,700 square feet. It's not done, but I can put whatever machines that I think are useful there. We can operate out of there. You give me a percentage. I'll, think,
Sure.
she signed the paperwork. I mean, I was working from like as soon as I got off of work that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, moving everything out of his shop, moving it to my space. I was doing a lot. He had contracts with, DC Metro Police, Montgomery County Police, PG County. He had a
Ooh,
lot of, right, he had a lot of government jobs.
hell yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let
Can't
me
let
get
that
that.
go.
This
Cannot let that go.
facts. And coming from like what I was just saying, like being able to go from street to corporate and have your own corporate entity, like just like that, that was so enticing. That's what I really wanted. I've been wanting that. I wanted to be that dude that went from like fucking skateboarding and singing and making T-shirts to being the guy that the police officers came to get their uniforms made. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's a crazy contract. That's
It
different.
is
That's different.
facts.
That so that's a different type of contract. You know what I'm saying? So that's and that type of money is different than just like hype money too.
Hey,
You know what I'm
consistent
saying?
money is the most beautiful kind of money.
Right, right. No, consistent money, but like real like I know like okay, anyways. I got my bad. So I move everything out. He gets into my spot. We're working. I go to my job every day. He's at the spot working, but then he said he doesn't like the contract. Mind you, he signed the contract. Now he's saying he doesn't like the contract. Why don't you like the contract? He comes up with this bullshit ass story. We ask him for his numbers. We need your P&Ls. We need all your numbers for the past, 2 years, blah, blah, blah. He was reluctant to give us the numbers. But we pushed back. We said, look, I already gave him, and I gave him like 20 bags. I already gave him 20 grand. So he already had the money. Okay, let me see these numbers. You're already in the spot. You're working. You're making garments for people. Let me see your numbers because I don't understand why you don't want to, continue with the business. Come to find out, he was hiding the numbers. Once we get to the nitty gritty of it, he wasn't legal. He didn't pay his IRS, he didn't pay his bills, taxes for the past like 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
So the IRS was on him.
oh my
He wasn't
god.
legal. He wasn't legally able to actually do business in Maryland because of the tax problems. So that was for 2 years. And he got evicted because of the fact that he wasn't doing good business. And he had no legs to stand on, mind you. So I'm like, yo, you actually not good with business. And then he actually tried to sell the big machine. Basically, I bought his 6 head embroidery machine. I thought I was buying his contracts with the police department, but he
Oh,
didn't have those contracts. They were under the table contracts. Okay? Under the table contracts, bro. Bro, he sold me a whole ass dream, bro.
no, bro.
I'm telling you, I had the embroidery machine at my spot. I had all the sewing machines at my spot. I had all the thread. I mean, I had like 10,000 spools of thread. I had all of the patches for everything.
God, bro.
Come to find out. So my father, my father who has been investing in me all my life, um, basically was like, you know what, you should get your, your money back and give him the machine because it's not worth it. Take that money and put it towards a new machine and put it towards something a bit more solid than this old man's debt. And so my dream, that accomplishment that we were talking about, I had it, bro. Like I had it. August
Uh,
to October, August to October last year, I had it, and I thought I wanted it that way. It kind of goes full circle because sometimes when you think you want something or you want to be perceived a certain way, you want to show, you know, it's not actually what you want. It's not actually what you want. I thought I wanted to buy his. I thought I wanted to buy his whole. I thought I wanted to buy his whole company. I thought I wanted to, but the whole time when I did it, it really wasn't the right fit. You know, so it's all about pivoting. I ended up getting, the raise, the higher position at the company that I work for, and just been learning a lot more on the digital marketing side, the aspect of that AI side. You know, all my entire journey for the past like 10 years has been like physical marketing. I can talk, I can tell you anything, I can make it look good, but really now it's all about that coding as well, like your online marketing, your online presence. Of course it's always been like that since we were kids. We had MySpace, MySpace back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We had Tumblr, we had all these things that we were presenting ourselves on to way before Instagram. But now it's just times two. So if people really understood how Google analytics works, you know,
Uh,
just yeah, like if you want to get your
SEO,
podcast,
SEO, bro.
yeah, SEO, right? Basically, if you want to get your podcast seen in front of millions of people, you want to be able to get spots on TV or spots on the commercials during your YouTube, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, especially uh, up and coming businesses like anybody, don't really understand that. You think that you gotta put like $3,000, $4,000 up just so you can be seen on Facebook
No, you
all
just
the
gotta
time. But
know how to. I have a friend. He's a specialist in SEO, and the way he puts it
yeah,
is the algorithm is just a librarian, and the words that you put in your descriptions helps that librarian know where to file your video, file your post. End of the
what
day,
file your post. That's how you do it, and like you could put up money for it if you want to be seen
hey,
as
yeah,
much as
everything's
you
pay
want
to
it to
play
be.
for real, for real.
Exactly, everything's pay to play, and if you know how to play, then you'll be good. And I think that's just a combination that I'm working towards. It's nice to see like my boys like there's somebody, when we did the Dreamcast album, you'd see like some people on there like me, you'll see, Rich, of course you'll see Sebastian, you see Paulo, you'll see a slew of different people who back then we were just like hipster nerds, but now we're doing things that are like considered to be lit, Paulo's been working with Pharrell for some time now and
Excuse me.
Beta Nate. And yeah, man, he's been like the right hand man for that whole merchant marketing campaign for years now.
I disappeared
Yeah,
for too
bro.
long, bro.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are doing a lot of cool things. It's just you getting back there though for sure.
I'm
So
trying,
how was your journey? Talk to
huh?
me about your journey, bro. Where did you go?
All
What was
right, all
going
right, all
on,
right.
bro?
Hold on. I'll tell you. Let's. I want to end the interview and then we'll talk about that in a minute. Um,
Okay.
is there like I typically have a list of questions, but if I don't need to ask them, I don't want to ask them because you just told me your fucking story. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm always hoping for. That's all I want. So for real, you know is there anything else that you want to talk about? Is there anything else you have coming up? And or is there you just said a lot in the last thing that you said about uh you know this that dude fucked you over, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no,
you
it
were talking about uh what you learned from that and everything, but what if you could sum up the lesson that you learned from that, and then but also I feel like as far as much as it was very aggravating, and I can't imagine the feeling that you had in August, and then the feeling when you realized that that was all false hope in October. That had to be soul crushing. I know you cried. I'd have cried like a baby. Bro, like that was you had it in the palm of your hands. Talk to me about that.
basically,
The way you felt, and then what did you learn from that? Because it was as much as it was bad. The worst things that we go through in life are some of the most beneficial things we go through.
yeah, I got you. Let me turn on the light real quick.
You good? P.S. Get me in touch with Rich and Sebastian and Pop. Like, please, if you're still talking to them, get me in touch. I want to do interviews with all of them, bro.
Yeah, hold on, got you. So yeah, so what I learned. You mind if I light this? You,
No,
you
for
cool if
sure,
I light this?
bro. For sure.
What I learned basically from that whole thing is it's really you have plans, but your plans aren't really God's plans for real. and maybe they are to a certain extent, and maybe you'll still get what you want if you work harder for it and learn from certain mistakes, and you'll get it when you are supposed to get it. You know, I think that I needed to learn that, and I needed to be in that situation in order for me to know when someone is not doing good business later on down the line. Because what if I did continue to rock with him and I ended up getting a certain contract, but then they look back into my records, see that I purchased this company that is a shit company, and they associated with my information and everything that wouldn't be good for my legacy, that wouldn't be good for my growth, you know. So it was a hard pill to swallow, but I think that now I'm just more precise with what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is.
Okay, no, that makes sense, man. You can always know what you want, but you don't know how to get it until you learn the lesson, until you made the mistakes to know what not to do to get it. You're
Oh
on
yeah.
your
I
track, bro.
mean,
You're on your path. You've got the vision. You've been on this hustle for so long. You've had your ups and
yeah.
downs. You know what you're doing. You have all the connections you need, bro. I can't wait to see what happens for you in the next 6 months, for real, for real.
Thanks, man. That's the goal. The goal is in January I should be on a whole new platform, but I'm gonna
See, six
start
months,
again.
6 months. What I say?
Yeah, 6 months, man. 6 months, man. Having my daughter really changed a lot for me and made me like really want to do this more. You know, I love it. I love being a dad. I love like being a creative dad and being able to make her custom merch for whenever she
That's
wants
so
it. You
cool,
know,
bro. That's
or
so
whenever
cool.
this is nice. It's lit, man. So I kind of stepped away from doing stuff for you know like entertainers as much as I used to, and just now I think I'm just gonna do it just for the skill of it, you know. And once that starts to develop even more, then I believe I can expand and get to where I want to go. And I feel like teaching, you know, would be something dope. Like you watch a lot of YouTubers, you watch a lot of like people on social media that show you how to do certain things. And I think I could be that one of the best when it comes to making garments. You know what I mean? I
Hell
want
yeah, bro. Own that, bro. You know you could be one of the best,
watch
man.
watch when you see the embroidery videos coming out and all the new merch that I'll be making in the way that I market it. It'll be It'll be amazing. So yeah, that's where I'm going, man. And I appreciate the interview. I know I rapped for like the longest
That's all
time,
I
but
want, though.
it was
I
just
just want people to
nice.
tell their stories, man. I appreciate you opening up. I appreciate you
Yeah,
being
yeah,
honest
yeah,
and
no
telling these
doubt.
stories. They'll help other people. I promise.
Yeah, yeah. This keep going for what you know you can do. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. You
Exactly.
know, some people might see like what you do as like, oh yeah, damn, you accomplished so much. You've been here, you've done this. But then at the same time, you think it in your head, those are just steps to get to where I really want to go. And I think that's really defines people. If you don't get like a big head on certain things and just continue to grind, knowing that there's a higher level that you can attain,
Facts.
and I think I think that's where it's at, you know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
those, you know, don't get so caught up in being like popping. Like we gotta like create that sustainable engine that solidifies you. That's
Facts.
really what it's about.
Facts,
That's what
man.
it's about. So that's the
Wise
mission, bro.
words from my old friend Dimitri the Merch God. Y'all follow him up, check him out. He's on his come up right now. This has been an
Yeah, man.
awesome episode of Character Acid. I appreciate your time, bro. We'll see
Peace,
y'all
man.
next time. Peace up.